We should be live. All right, folks, it looks like we're live. Welcome to Gamcast for, goodness, I think it's Tuesday evening. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Supreme Court. Trump lied to us. He said we'd get tired of winning, but we're not tired of winning. The Supreme Court issued a big ruling today. Here's Fox News telling you about it.
Order from the Supreme Court essentially saying that a San Francisco judge who put a stop to the Trump administration from cutting several federal agencies, they're saying that the Trump administration, in fact, right now can continue forward as the case plays out on its merits. So,
and folks, it's sort of strange to see what happened today. The 8-1 is not surprising. In that, a couple reasons. One, this was an easy decision, which I'll explain in a moment, and the judge never should have halted what was going on, which is obvious, kind of stupid. But the fact that it's won, and there's a reason for that, and at the end I'll tell you what the reason for that is. It's, spoiler alert, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's proven herself just not to be bright at all. Anyway, so folks, what had happened is Trump had issued an executive order. You can see Sotomayor in concurrence. She wrote separately. And she said, I agree with Justice Jackson. The president cannot restructure federal agencies in a manner inconsistent with congressional mandates. Obviously, of course, he can. Once you give the president an executive department, he or she can do whatever he or she wants, right? She's got to spend the money and she's got to allocate it. And there are some restrictions, but generally speaking, they have control of the executive branch. This is all nonsense to begin with. And Sotomayor is just a fascist to say that. But she goes on. She says, here, however, the relevant executive order directs agencies to, quote, plan reorganizations and reductions in force consistent with applicable law. Thus, she writes later, the plans themselves are not before the court. In other words, hey, Ketanji, you got to wait until he rules, then we'll use our fascism. You're a little too early here. Trump hasn't even ruled, and this guy is out of the gate, doesn't get it. And, folks, a couple things here. She didn't have to write separately to say that. She basically wrote separately, in my view, for two reasons. One, because she's embarrassed by Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's like, hey, I'm a fascist just like you. I'm going to do exactly what, I'm going to disregard the Constitution. I'm going to tie Trump's hand. I'm going to do all this stuff too. But don't be so obvious about it, right? At least let him go through the motions and try to do it. And then whatever they come up with, we're going to deny it, right? We're going to say he can't do it. It'll probably be a 6-3 decision by the time he gets up there. And you'll notice Kagan, the other fascist, she didn't write a concurring opinion. She just kept her mouth shut. But anyway, good news for Trump. These cuts can go forward. We'll see what happens. I'm sure the judge will say they're bad, and we'll go up to court, and they'll finally say that they're good, obviously. So anyway, if you enjoyed this content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you do, you will see me on the next one.